We're going to do some exploration into how our bodies feel good always around into those hips and spine and all those magical feel good muscles. So for this one, I'm looking for you to have a yoga block, maybe a soft performance roller. I love the melt ones, as well as a stability ball and a band. So let's get going. We are bringing our little performance roller and our yoga block to work with this one. I'm going to sandwich my feet in between the yoga block, and then with my hip, I'm going to kind of give it some expression of connection to the wall against my hip. And then I'm going to allow my foot that's not against the wall to lift up and then position it on top of the block. I like to use the gription of my toes so I can feel the yum of those arches and just seeing if I'm getting the right muscle fired at the right time. I want to feel that lateral hip support as well as this generation of connection. And can I swing the leg that's against the wall a little bit more with freedom? And if I am in that zone, I'm going to push demand of my footprint into the block and see if I can keep this firing and then maybe add rotation and seeing if I can make that movement of my ribs to spin me into a 180 degree, or maybe it's a little bit less, but whatever it is, I'm going to use my fingertips to energetically pull towards me as my chest pulls through the wall and getting a little bit more flavor of those shoulder blades moving down the back of my body. Do I feel the whole body lit up? And maybe if you notice, if you're getting the neurological happiness, do you have a little quiver of bounce without you even to think about it? And we're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back. And let's check out the other side. Sometimes one side might be a little bit more challenge. Let's see where you're at. So making the little sandwich with my block, actively into my hip against the wall. Maybe if I'm having trouble finding that, maybe getting awareness to how I can keep my hip compressed into the wall and then stepping up onto the block. And once I'm here, and as I press down into my footprint, do I have this awakeness? Do I have any discomfort in my knee? Like, where is my body holding stability into this side of my body? And if you need to reset yourself, I welcome you to do that. But using the arch supports of those feet, grow length into your spine, chest should move forward. Try that swing. These psoas that merge out of the spine and come to the front of the hip and insert into the upper leg bones on the inner thigh need to be free. They want to be wild. They don't want to have to be a muscle to help support stability. They want these big babies to do it. And add some movement. Add some movement and rotation. And can you keep stability over mobility? So here's your stability. Here's my mobility. And as I use the wall to energetically pull down, feel the shoulders come down, and we're just hanging and holding. Find some breath, and maybe get a little neuro quiver into that foot. It's a little wild today. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. How did that feel? How did that feel in your body? Were you all lit up? I hope so. Come to wide legs, and I just want you to reach overhead and acknowledging your footprints here. As you push into the outside edge of the heel, big toe mound, and we're bending at the elbows, bending at the knees. As much as I'm reaching my chest towards you, my booty is moving back towards that wall. As I lengthen, maybe the biceps are by the ear, press into the ends of the roller, or maybe it's your yoga block, and practice hinging from that belly button. Grow length in your spine, chest leads up towards the ceiling, adding that reach, and practice maybe more rotation of the ribs. Do you have freedom from one side versus the other, all the while keeping activity into those feet? And then bring it back in, maybe feeling even more connection into those footprints. Big toes are active outside of the heels as you reach. Create that sound. Do you feel those lower abs coming alive as you're bending into the elbow? And then keep demand into the feet as you reach and lengthen overhead. And as you hold, I want you to press the palms against the edges of your feedback tool, whatever that might be, for 10, 9. Invite the shoulders back down the back of the body here. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. We're going to stay tall and standing, but I do want you to grab your band. Our exploration is in the lateral hip today, and we're using little tautness of the band to your hands. And as you step out and bending at the knee, do you feel that connection into that lateral hip? Reset yourself at any time if that is not the case. And give me 2 more, trying to keep tension in the band as you bend, keeping length in your spine. And 1. And even when I move and shift to the right and shift to the left, this pathway is truly open. Maybe it even feels dull, perhaps maybe on the other side. So let's try that. I'm going to push away and see if I can get lateral hip to feel the love. That heel bone kind of slides underneath the ankle. Do you feel it? Maybe really smush it like a grape. Keep that tension. Give me 2 more. 1 more. And as I hang and hold and come up tall, do I feel a little equalness in that playing field of the communication from foot to hip? And I'm going to add the reach and maybe invite the shoulders down here and then take it across my body, keeping active in those feet as I continually use my wrapping of those ribs from left to right. Don't let go of those feet. I love to work without sneakers. It really is more of a true feel as to how I'm firing in the hole and where I need to be. And let's speed it up for 4, 3, hips don't move, stability over mobility, 2, and 1. And take it slow. Boy, we're getting everything lit up today. Upper body, lower body, core, happiness. And here's that fast for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last time, slow. See if you can add a little bit more connection into those feet. Wow. No straining in the neck for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we're going to take a step out and diagonal it. Maybe stepping off your mat, diagonal it, and I'm stepping on back, keeping all the while that tension in these monster walks today. Let's try that again. Take it forward. Maybe a little quiver. I felt it, the top of that glute med. So awesome. Need that space in the hip, need that space in the joint. Last time, stepping forward and stepping back. Keeping tall in your spine, posture is working throughout. And just take it side for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Holy. Right here. Did you feel that? So, always giving love back to your body. We don't want to exhaust it. We want that trust feel always. And when our bodies know that we have its back, it gives it back tenfold. So this is a seated compression move. I would never do this on a hard roller. You want soft. You want to keep our tissue soft, so why not use tools that are soft? I'm coming onto my forearm, maybe even gripping the 5 fingers as my chest moves forward. And adding compression movement with the roller. I want you to kind of explore, maybe even close your eyes. As you come forward, can you sense that same pull as what you did with the band? Feel the hip to open, that ilium, that side of the hip to open and to land ever so smoothly, ever so softly. Maybe adding that half back position to work with the leg to follow the same. I'm going to bring both hands back and maybe get some deliciousness into the tail. And then switching sides, same rules apply. Never using the neck for support, but using the fingertips to pull towards me so my chest stays open. Almost like the barrel of your hip going over the waterfall. If you were to feel what that is or imagine what that is, swirl it around. Take a breath, and then coming to position the roller perhaps underneath the midline of the back, and give your body a hug into this frog-legged seat. And then maybe use the hips to go into tilt, meaning the sitting bones are coming down, and then maybe opening up the chest and pulling the tail under into a tuck. If you need to support your skull, maybe it's like this. Feel the hips being challenged, moving in one direction and then into the other. One more time. Add those frog leg hips. I like to flex up my ankles. Both hands support back of the skull. And we're going to land those feet ever so softly. Maybe giving some love to the back as I add compression and movement from side to side. And then hanging and holding a little longer. Head is heavy in my hands. And feel the feet push energetically away as the hips go down. And then maybe even add that good morning stretch or good evening stretch, whatever time of the day it is. See if that feels right in your body, all the while pressing your footprint away. Hips are down and head is supported. Can we isolate just the movement in our upper body? Energy of the shoulder blades to stay down. Don't want to wear those ears to the shoulders. You want lots of space in there. And if I pick up my right heel and pick up my left heel, all the while keeping lumbar back space, just kind of exploring. And then I'm going to extend the heel that's lifted, but really sink the leg bone deep into the hip, shoulder blades down, and we're turning. Same synergy of stability over mobility. Feel maybe both sitting bones active, maybe lifting up the top leg, the bottom leg to meet the top leg and rebending. And coming back, adding rotation. Lifting it up. Turning shoulder to knee. Getting a little quiver. That's it. That's what it's about. Little neuro quiver to keep space in our joints for a lifetime. Adding that lift off. Modify at any time. You need to reset yourself to get the muscle fever into the right areas and not the joints. And then let's alternate sides for 4. 3, hips stay down, keep that lumbar back space. 2 more. And 1. Landing with precision, pressing those footprints away, adding that yummy, delicious reach. Supporting the hands back behind the skull. Feel this energeticness of the string to lift, so the head is never leading the way. The heart leads the way. Try that again, pushing the footprints away from the body, hips interior tilt. You're pedaling those elbows back, so the roller is more by that bra line. And pick up the heel, see what that presents itself. Eye on the prize of anchoring all those happy bones down as we take flight, keeping the left heel lifted. I'm adding extension of the knee, keeping the sitting bones active, and then maybe floating in the bottom leg to meet the top leg as I add rotation and keep the sitting bone feeling the love in towards that mat. Landing. Use those bowl mounds coming up, extending, adding rotation. Living for that neuro quiver, that little feedback that I'm really not thinking about what I'm doing. It's just doing it all on its own. And that's where our posture needs to be. That's where our bones need to be, maybe slacking even more so the heel against the butt cheek. And then here is that quicker move for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Landing the ball mounds with precision, pressing the heels away, adding that length. Maybe rolling a little higher so you're supporting a little bit more of the upper back. Do what is needed as you rinse down the length of your spine. Feel the sitting bones down, and maybe as the sitting bones ground, can you feel the chest lift? Maybe a little feedback onto the hamstrings. This should be waking it up. Maybe feeling the heels dragging back so the leg bone stays deep into the hips. One more time, adding that feedback. Chest is lifted, and maybe this time coming up, frog legs here in a seated position. Awesome. So I want you to grab your stability ball. Let's try that same play with a little bit more of a ball. Have a good time. So if we were to come down where you're feeling your seat, can you simply walk those legs out, absorbing the curve of your lumbar back space, and even taking the bend out of your knee, maybe supporting the hands behind the skull. Can you keep the support of your curves? The longer the lever, the more challenge it is for our nervous system to keep balance and support, stability. So maybe you're here, maybe you can lengthen, but keep the curve. Do you have one leg that seems like it can keep going the mile, and the other side a little bit more hesitant to extend the knee? Work with what is best for you. And same rules apply. Let the heart lift up, head is heavy, into the head, into the hands, and see if you can keep that space as you add rotation into the ribs. First to one side, then to the other, maybe getting more of the hips to dig deeper into the bowl as the heart lifts up from side to side. It's really the sternum. The sternum is that very strong bone in the center of your chest. And let's add a little bit more speed if that feels right for you. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowing down. Maybe this time picking up the heel and getting more communication with the ball mounds of that foot. Do you feel it more alive and well into the lowest portion of those abs? Maybe coming back to center, maybe pressing the fingertips and unloading here. See where you're at. Maybe you can add some grounding. What is your foot on the floor doing? Hopefully the ankle is going a little haywire, but that's a good thing. And growing long. Seeing if that side that was a little hesitant to grow length feels a little even from that other opposite side. Try that again because it felt so amazing as we add that length. And again, if that is not right for you, make your ranges smaller. Working fullest of ranges for a lifetime. That's what the goal here is. And it's keeping strong and flexible all at the same time. So I'm going to pick up my right heel this time. And I am anchoring, feeling length into my space between my hip crest as well as my bottom ribs as I add that rotation. Slow and steady wins the race. My one thing that's constant is my footprint away from me too. So I'm keeping space in that gluteal fold, into the knee, into the ankle, and maybe picking up some pace for 4, 3, 2, 1, and nice and slow. Maybe keeping the heel lifted on the opposite side. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing is a beautiful thing. Want to make that part of our workout. Pick up that space for 4, 3, 2, 1. And see if you can lift up and off. Maybe using the fingers, let the chest lift up. Hamstrings, glutes, inner thigh, full, happy. It's okay that I wander, but I have the little feedback from my hands to stop, but it just feels right in the right place. Pressing away, keeping the curves, using the ball as positive feedback. As you take the extension, does it feel more even from side to side? And then as we kind of connect into that lumbar back space, can we walk those feet, pushing the feet energetically away as the chest lifts up here. You can always give feedback to the back of the hamstrings into getting that synergy and timing from your spine to your hips. Hips going down as the chest moves up. Use those hands as feedback anytime that is needed. Nice job. Bring back that band. And let's bring the feet. So just like we were doing standing in those monster walks, we're keeping tension on the outside of the heel, and then use the spine to grow long. Feel the sitting bones open, and then take a bow. And maybe picking up the toes, and then pulling back into the elbows. Maybe bring the elbows a little more forward in front of that hip point. Pick up the toes, adding that stretch. If you're lucky enough to have a wall, you're feeling a little bit more secure. The wall is your friend. Use it. Picking it up, adding that reach. Energetically open up those toes, and we're just hanging and holding. Let the heart lift up as the hips grow down, and we're hanging for 10, 9, 8, 7. Get those shoulder blades to invite themselves down the back of the body. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. And maybe bending more in the knees. Getting some stretch. Bringing the handprint into the mat. as I reach, feeling it into my shoulder. As I press down, I'm lifting up in a healthy way. As the elbow comes down, I'm trying to spin that tricep. Try it one more time. Add that reach. Footprint active into the floor. And then just take a pause, maybe gripping all 10 fingers to pull the chest through here. Make a big frog leg. Frog legs are awesome. Have you kissed your frog today? Has it turned into a prince or a princess? Yes, the most unusual things. There are gifts in the most unusual things. Put energy of the inside of the legs to the outside of those triceps, and make your big giant leapfrog impression as you lengthen your spine. Chest moves forward, hips go back. And opposite side. Pressing my hand away, maybe adjusting the band so you have the appropriate amount of tension as you add that reach. Press down with demand, feel the outside blade connect those determination muscles, those serratus anterior muscles, the ones wrap around the rib wall, gripping all 5 fingers to pull through. How do those knees feel? Can you energetically reach those knees maybe to the corners of the room to keep everything open into those hips, deliciously firing in the hall? Give me 2 more. Don't forget to breathe. 1 more. Add that reach. Everything is smearing, smushing, integrating into your mat, footprints, hand. Maybe wandering to the left, to the right, and feeling the stretch of the inner thighs. So the most precious gift is to always be able, throughout our lifetime, is to get up, whether it's the chair, whether it's the floor. So how can we do this with grace and integrity? So I'm going to use my grounding reflexes in my feet, and as I push the heel outside away, just like all the exercises we've been doing, big toe is active, hands against the thighs, thighs against the hand, as much as I am lifting. There it is. And reach, maybe a side angle, pick up the bottom side to help open up the top side. And switching to sides, switching directions, add that reach. Use strength in those obliques and all those wraps as they interdigitate into the side body. Use it to be your lift off. Okay, so grabbing your ball. Let's connect the knees into the side of the ball, and as you lift up your heels, can you keep pressing the knees into the ball into the knees, and then use those long bones to land. And then maybe if you need a little bit more feedback, your hands are pressing into the thighs, thighs against the hands for this. 3 times the charm. Add that reach. Exhale, hands against the thighs, thighs against the hands. Lift it up and seeing if you can bend more in your knees, keeping the length of your spine, rolling back. Keep the length of your spine, lifting on up. Maybe a little neuro quiver from one side to the other for here. Try that again. Use that feedback so the leg bone is deep into the hip. Lifting on up. Bending. A lot of timing happening from right side to left side. That's what we're trying to create. Feeling the sitting bones wide here. Best Utkatasana ever. We can always compensate in that chair position, but not today. Feeling determined as ever. Try it again, lifting on up, lengthening your spine. The ball just gives us feedback and support so we can do this properly. And even as we roll, do you feel that narrow quiver, a little shaking in a healthy, happy way, hinging from that belly button here. As we come on up, lift it strong. Nice job. And just give some stretch to the inner thighs. Maybe this time, as we land, feeling the hips move back here. You want to have this whole area, region firing. Not just, you could tuck it under, you just get a different sensation. But today, we're keeping space in our lumbar back. So, pushing into the ball mound, push that bootylicious back as we hang and hold. And switching. One more. As we land and hold. And what is better in a workout than to end in some push-ups? So yes, you can always come over the ball and land your hands and walk out. But maybe today we're starting here, where we're gripping all 10 fingers back and feeling the hips open as we push the insteps down into the ball, lengthening the spine. Make your sound. See if those abs come alive. The wrists are directly underneath their elbows, elbows underneath the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades migrate down the back of the body, like you have an imaginary string coming up from the tailbone. And that belly button region, see if you can unload. And do you have that support needed to continue to lift? Maybe flipping those dogs and coming into that push-up position. I'm gonna bring my hands a little wider, unless you want to do tricep push-ups. So gripping all 10 fingers, letting the heart move forward, unloading the knees, lifting. And maybe I'm here as the chest leads the way, keeping my low back not to drop. 8, 7, 6, go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, baby, that should be lit up your whole body like the 4th of July. Big toes together, knees go wide. Add the length into child's pose, spine is long, hips sink back. So whatever you do today, do it with love. Take a breath in. Do it with kindness. Do it with cherishing movement for a lifetime. Nice job. Have a good